Alright, buckle up, because I'm diving headfirst into a story that sounds like it was ripped straight from a low-budget sci-fi flick. But it's real and it involves flesh-eating flies. I know just when I thought 2025 couldn't get any wilder, right? So here's the deal. For decades, this horrifying problem was mostly under control. I'm talking about the New World Screwworm. It's a nasty little creature that burrows into wounds and literally eats living flesh. It's like nature's horror villain, especially for livestock. But here's the twist. Since the 1960s, we've had this almost science fiction level solution in place. Picture a giant fly factory down in Panama. It's cranking out over 100 million sterile male screwworm pupae every single week. And these aren't just regular flies, they're like biological secret agents. Their mission: find female screwworms, mate with them, and make sure those females lay eggs that never hatch. No viable eggs, no flesh-eating larvae. Problem solved, right? It was genius. This invisible genetic wall kept these monsters at bay, especially at the narrow land bridge in Panama. It protected the livestock industry like a silent superhero squad of sterile flies. But here's where it gets weird. Despite this awesome setup, these little nightmares have started moving north. Since 2023, Panama, where we used to see about 25 cases a year, suddenly shot up to over 6,000 cases. Yeah, 6,000. It's like they found a back door into the fortress. Maybe they're hitching rides on cattle shipments. And this really blows the mind, the females might actually be evolving to avoid the sterile males. How's that for an evolutionary curveball? And of course, there's the ever-present culprit: climate change. Warmer temperatures are making it easier for these flies to survive and spread. Areas that used to be too cool for them are now their new stomping grounds. And just to make things even more fun, a whole generation of vets and farmers has no memory of dealing with this nightmare. So catching outbreaks early? Way harder than it used to be. It's like fighting a monster we've only heard about in old horror stories. Now here's where the chaos really kicks in. There's no shortage of theories about why this is happening. I've heard the rumblings about budget cuts, about how funds were slashed, staff was let go, and the program fell behind. Then there's the version where the program was paused, then restarted but too late. It's a kind of oops, too little too late moment that ends up costing big. There's even the joke that funding was only brought back because someone realized the Big Mac supply was in danger. Priorities, right? The political finger-pointing? Oh, it's loud. There's talk about voters who hate spending money on things like this, and the idea floated around to start calling the bug the Trump fly. But here comes the twist. While all that noise is going on, the program is actually being massively expanded, like full-blown comeback mode. There's emergency funding totaling over $165 million going into livestock protection and fly control in Mexico and Central America. The USDA is putting $21 million into turning a fruit fly facility in Matapa, Mexico, into a new sterile fly production hub. The goal: to crank out 60 to 100 million sterile screwworms every week by the end of 2026. And that's just one part of it. A new sterile insect dispersal facility is being built in South Texas, set to open in 2025, just to release flies into northern Mexico. There's even talk of building another companion breeding center near that same Texas location. That could potentially produce 300 million flies per week. It's triple what the original facility could handle in emergency mode. And yes, it's all fully funded. In fact, the funding is going up in the next USDA budget. On June 18, 2025, Secretary Brooke L. Rollins opened an $8.5 million sterile fly dispersal facility in South Texas. She also launched a sweeping 5-pronged plan to fight back. So while everyone else is arguing, we are in full-on pump-up-the-numbers mode, trying to get back to the 500 million flies per week used during the massive eradication push in Mexico in the 1980s. Now what happens if these flies get through the defenses? Beyond the obvious horror of flesh-eating maggots, we can pretty much kiss affordable steaks goodbye. If this hits American states hard, especially with the massive red meat and poultry industries, then it's crazy beef prices ahead. And let's be real, price hikes don't need much of an excuse. If the story of this invasion hits the mainstream, prices will jump whether the supply is actually impacted or not. We've already seen beef jump by $3 a pound in just a couple weeks. Makes me seriously consider going vegetarian, especially when I remember that beef is already heavily subsidized. Without those government handouts, a pound of ground beef might actually be around $30. Suddenly, those burgers come with a side of financial crisis. So here I am, staring down a threat we once contained, now back with a vengeance. Climate change, evolving bugs, and tangled up funding narratives are swirling together in one big messy storm. The good news? We've done this before. We know what works. Can we scale it up fast enough? Can we save the cattle, the goats, and our wallet? Only time and a whole lot of sterile flies will tell. What a world, huh?